I still remember when I was young, I could work from morning till night, walk for hours without feeling tired. Back then, I never thought about aging. I believed I would always be strong, always busy with work and family, with no time to grow old. But one day I realized that old age doesn't creep in slowly. It arrives unexpectedly, bringing with it things I was never prepared for. At first, I just thought I was feeling a little more tired, moving a little slower. But then, the aches and pains came every morning. My knees creaked with every step I took. Some days, I walked into the kitchen to get something, but when I stood in front of the fridge, I had already forgotten what I was looking for. At first, I laughed it off, telling myself I was just a little forgetful. But as these moments became more frequent, worry started to creep in. Then came the loneliness. My house used to be filled with laughter, my children running around, my friends visiting. But as time passed, my children grew up, started their own families, and got busy with their own lives. My closest friends moved away. Some became too weak to meet up, and some were no longer here. I sat in the same house that once felt too small for all of us, but now it felt too big and empty. Every month I received my pension, just enough to get by. But when illness struck, medical bills became a real concern. I didn't want to burden my children, but I couldn't help but worry. When I was young, I thought having a good job and earning enough money would mean I wouldn't have to worry in old age. But now, I understand that money can help, but it cannot prevent loneliness or the fear of losing independence. I used to do everything myself, fixing my old motorbike, repairing broken chairs, even climbing onto the roof to replace broken tiles. But now, simply bending down to pick something up off the floor feels like a challenge. The feeling of having to ask for help, something I never liked, has now become unavoidable. I fear becoming a burden, but sometimes I also fear being forgotten. There are days when I just sit in silence, reminiscing about the past. I miss the days when I was needed, when I felt important. I used to think old age was simply about resting, about enjoying life, but I've come to realize that it's also a battle against illness, against loneliness, and against my own thoughts. But then, one day, my grandchild ran up to me, hugged me, and excitedly told me about a school test, about stories I could no longer keep up with. He laughed joyfully, pulling my hand to sit with him in the garden. At that moment, I realized that even though I was no longer young or as strong as before, I still mattered. I still had people who loved me. So, if you are still young, start preparing for old age now. Don't just focus on making money and forget to take care of your health. Don't forget to build meaningful relationships with family and friends, because one day you'll realize that what truly matters isn't what you have, but who is still by your side. And if you are already old like me, learn to embrace it, to find joy in the little things, because no matter what, old age can still be beautiful in its own way.